Well, Kyle?
Yes, Garrett.
At the core of our friendship is co-op. At least our online friendship. Our normal friendship is just texting each other shitposts.
That's what friends do.
Even all the way back when we started with StarCraft 2 coverage, we played a weird amount of 2v2. I think it was a weird amount. That's not what most people were doing in StarCraft 2.
We got to Diamond. I thought we were pretty good at it.
We're old.
So today we're going to journey through the years and go over our favorite co-op games of our time. Now, we're going to skip juggernauts in the room. World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, Minecraft, Warcraft 3, juggernauts.
I haven't seen your list, so I'll show you mine if you show me yours, Kyle. Let's get going.
I'm going to lead with 1998's N64 Gauntlet Legends.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Damn, I played this once.
Only once? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This was a staple for years and years. Gauntlet was impossible in the arcade. It was meant to eat quarters. But the N64 version had some unlockables, such as specialty items that would make bosses easier, remove abilities, take away half the health. And then, of course, the unlocking of the skins, such as the Anubis Wizard, of which I was.
I distinctly remember playing it at one birthday party, and this probably says more about my friend group in the 90s than anything else, but I remember everyone, myself included, being like, I'd rather play GoldenEye, which doesn't count for this list, by the way, because that's not co-op, you're just trying to murder each other. Was there teams in GoldenEye? I legitimately don't remember. Could you do 2v2?
Not that I remember at all. Of GoldenEye, we would basically go to temple, and everyone would crouch run all the time.
I don't remember ever partying up in there, but that's really unique.
My friend group was very into Brood War and Age of Empires. We were very, very competitive. And so in order to recover or maybe even continue the allowance of sleepovers, because parents would hear us arguing, we got into co-op games and forced it upon ourselves. And Gauntlet Legends was the first game we really latched onto that let us work as a team.
Traps make some walls disappear.
Wow. I'm like, we definitely yelled at each other a lot in the N64 days, but I don't think ever so much that any parent decided we should play friendly games.
Unlock chests with keys.
I was a sensitive child and a sore loser, so I countered that by practicing the video games we'd be playing at the sleepover ahead of time, so I was better than everybody else, so that I wouldn't have to be a sore loser.
Oh, you devious bastard.
Yeah.
Oh, this is why we're friends. I'm a sore loser, too. I was definitely a sore loser growing up. So I've got an honorable mention just 1 year later. The original Super Smash Brothers.
Oh, sure.
Which I know goes against, I think, what you consider a co-op experience. But we did 2v2 all the time. And here's where someone reminds my fading memory that maybe teams weren't a thing in the original Nintendo 64 Super Smash Brothers, because I legitimately don't remember.
No, they were. And you could co-op that, and we would, by doing 2 versus 2 computers, so that no one's feelings were getting hurt. We do the exact same thing in Mario Party. Would there be 3 people playing? But we'd always leave room for one computer to gang up on and just trash on. And it was always Donkey Kong.
That first Smash Brothers was that killed GoldenEye in my friend group. Like, that's what put GoldenEye in a coffin, was when the first Smash Brothers came out. And my God, we played it so much, and it didn't matter how much I practiced. I never became the better Link player. I had a good friend of mine who we'd both be Link, and he'd always kick my ass.
For me, I bet you it's older brother syndrome. You know, that my little sister was told to play with me, and I had to find ways to include them. So oftentimes I gamify a game that may have been competitive and make it 2-player in some way.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Plenty of, like you said, playing against AI in the old Smash Brothers.
Green team win!
I don't know if you played this one. My honorable mention is 1999's Battle Tanks Global Assault.
Why does that sound familiar?
You'll probably remember the picture of the tank barrel staring out the front. It was a fully co-opable campaign. The story made no sense. If there even was a story.
I do remember that. I remember this on the Blockbuster shelf. This art is burned into my memory.
It was fun. I owned it. As a kid, that's not exactly the choice you made, but you owned it and you made the best of it.
I'm going to take you to 2001, Kyle.
Okay. Interesting. Oh, I know. I know.
I could have left a year off and just said Halo. All the Halo. Particularly up through 3. Halo 1 through Halo 3 is responsible for some of my most purified and reduced nostalgia. This is a controlled substance in my brain. If I'm having a bad day, I just think about staying up really late, co-oping Halo on Legendary.
But you picked 2001 Combat Evolved, which is very important because I would fight you on the co-opability of Halo 2 because that was unfun.
Halo 2 was unfun on Legendary. You had to go heroic if you wanted to have a good time. If you wanted an exercise in both of your friends screaming, "F*** you," to a bunch of jackal snipers, then you played Halo 2 on Legendary.
The one-shot kill was not fun. Which did increase the game's life, I guess, but I just didn't beat it on Legendary then.
I even tried with my college roommate. We did like anything that was co-op, we always beat it on the hardest difficulty. We even tried going back to Halo 2 once, and we were just like, "You want to get a beer?" Yeah, I'd rather get a beer.
Yeah, I mean, granted, sitting in the room so your friend can run it over and over with a shotgun and their 2 grenades they got for free wasn't the best co-op experience, but it was for the Legendary badge. It was worth it.
I was that friend on my first Halo 1 Legendary experience. I was just getting bodied constantly. I think that was the first time I stayed up until I saw a sunrise playing a video game.
Dude, getting those badges was so much fun. And in general, the co-op experience, riding in the side seat while someone drove, the choice, getting to do the Warthog with the driver, with you on a gun, or even putting more people in there for the multiplayer, the tanks, were they called Banshees? The flying thing? That was a Banshee,
that was a Banshee.
Right? Yeah.
Because you also had the Ghost, that was the ground thing.
Man, that was, and a good story too. It really didn't matter. There was 2 Master Chiefs. I don't think it broke my immersion at all. It was just a really solid game. Combat Evolved, what a weird name. I guess it evolved combat. I guess it did something new, maybe. It was just great out of the box. It was a great game.
Yeah. And the whole original trilogy just escalated for me. I remember, didn't have an original Xbox. I went over to a good friend's house for the midnight release.
Dozens of grown men and probably about 3 women have crawled out of their parents' basements tonight to be first in line to buy the new video game, Halo 2.
We picked up Halo 2, went to his house. We had a case of Red Bull from Sam's Club, and we stayed up all night and beat it on heroic. And then when Halo 3 dropped, I was in college, had roommates. I invited a couple more friends over because you could do 4-player co-op, and we 4-player co-opted through Legendary as our first playthrough on Halo 3 launch night.
Nice.
Oh boy, that game as a co-op experience followed me all the way to becoming an adult, and really, really fond memories for it. I would go do it right now. If you're like, "Ooh, your words have moved me. Would you rather go play this instead of finishing this video?" This would just be an unfinished video.
2 honorable mentions as we climb. Mech Assault on Xbox. There was an infinite mode I loved.
Oh, damn. There's another one I barely played.
And the 2008 Left 4 Dead. You gotta love Left 4 Dead.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to take you to 2007, Kyle. And again, I'm going to cheat a little bit here because, again, I'm basically talking about the whole series.
I'm interested. I have no idea what you could
You
be.
have no clue what it is. Really?
No.
Really?
No.
Well, if you had only thought about how we met. You would know that Rock Band is cemented as one of my favorite co-op games of all time.
Okay, yeah, co-oping. Yeah, okay, yeah. Technically true.
It is a co-op experience. You're not trying to beat each other. That was the case in Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero doesn't count.
Yes.
You're trying to get a higher score than each other. And while you do get scored at the end of Rock Band, you are both trying to make, or all 4 of you, trying to make beautiful music together.
Of course.
With plastic instruments. I miss Rock Band so much it hurts inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Due to a thing called state-dependent memory, I don't think I could play it well now.
State-dependent memory?
Yeah, we were always inebriated in college when we played Guitar Hero Rock Band.
I mean, I can help you with that.
It's how you got through the fire and the flames.
That was Guitar Hero, not Rock Band.
That was Guitar Hero. Yes, you're talking about Rock Band. Yes.
Yep, that was Guitar Hero 3, which was when Activision started to ruin it.
Oh, yeah, and all the buy songs and
Harmonix made Guitar Hero 1 and 2, sold to Activision, and then when 3 came out, Rock Band came out, and 3 looked old and moldy by comparison.
Yeah, Rock Band had that big box too at the GameStop. It was a price tag.
Yeah, well, it came with the drums.
Yeah.
And a guitar.
I liked my Wiimote one where you'd kind of like work in the stick. You'd
Oh, no, you played it on the Wii.
In.
Oh,
yeah,
my God.
I like the Wii one. Yeah.
Oh, no, the graphics, Kyle.
Oh, welcome to Nintendo.
Listen, I know Rock Band's not the prettiest game in the world, but oh boy, it definitely wasn't the prettiest game in the world on freaking Wii.
I didn't know any better.
So you came to our party that one time. That's how we met.
Yeah, that's true.
You came to one of my college parties because the friend I stayed up all night beating Halo 2 with on launch night was your roommate in college.
Backstory.
All right.
I only get 3 picks, but I'm going scandalous because the game worked in co-op and did not work really at all at the height of EA's tomfoolery. Solo play, Dead Space 3. I love Dead Space 3.
Dead Space 3 had co-op?
Dead Space 3 had co-op.
What?
Yeah, you played as Isaac and then the other Marine guy. And when you played it through solo, the other Marine guy would randomly walk in the room during your cutscenes because they didn't record it twice. So you'd have this dude who wasn't even on your adventures just standing there talking with Isaacs. It was a horrible experience. However,
I was about to say, how are you going to save this? You're not really selling it.
oh, and it went one further that you'd be going through a Dead Space game and you'd continually come across boxes and doors that said, oh, can't open unless you have a co-op partner. Whoops, sorry, you missed this content. It was horrible.
So they just programmed FOMO into the game?
Yes, so that you'd have to spend and buy 2 copies of Dead Space 3.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna need to stop you dead in your tracks because you, sir, went, however, like you were about to make it sound better and then you made it worse.
Well, here comes a better however. However, the co-op experience was actually incredible. So much so that only one player would hear like Dead Space whispers at a time. And there would be shadows and light tricks that would only play for one player. So while you're moving through your ships and your facilities, one person would be getting the scares while another person wasn't. And in some instances, players couldn't even see the enemies because it was an illusion of the other. So you'd walk in a room and your co-op partner would just start firing in the corners randomly and screaming because they were under attack, but they were illusions just for that person.
Oh, that's cool as shit.
It was an amazing experience.
So I was about to say, I'm like, did we just get on a survival horror must be co-op kick? But no, Resident Evil 5 was way before Dead Space 3. It was 2009. Dead Space 3 was 4 years later in 2013.
I thought about including an honorable mention for it, but Resident Evil 5 was just bad.
It's a shit game. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Co-op. I had fun. I had fun with Resident Evil 5. It's a bad Resident Evil. It's a pretty fun co-op experience.
I'll admit I'm a huge Dead Space fan, so I was already kind of bought in after 2. I was curious about 3. And I didn't even blink. I didn't even think about reviews. I didn't even think about, what experience is preferred. I just dove straight into Dead Space 3 co-op.
I have a feeling, even with the success of the remake, that we're not going to get a Dead Space 3 remake.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think they considered it a success at all.
I don't think that's going to happen. Although, revisionist history Dead Space 3 would be pretty interesting. Like, do it again, but, like, get rid of all the stuff that sucked.
And granted, they didn't invent this idea. That was actually Portal 2, where GLaDOS would whisper to one player that, I think you're doing better than the other, or you should be hating them. Like, there was unique audio that would play for each player while you're solving the puzzles. But messing with the players and making them think that there were enemies when there weren't, and basically having one seeing eye human for the other when you were going too insane was a super cool way to work sanity mechanics. Sanity mechanics, Amnesia, Call of Cthulhu, they're almost always a burden instead of an actual gameplay experience. 2017, a legit epic co-op experience, Divinity Original Sin 2.
I should have saw this coming.
Amazing game. Okay ending. Okay ending. But it didn't matter. If you had a group of 4 players to go through this, you had over 100 hours of content. It took my group, my D&D group that moved into this, 167 hours to complete Divinity 2. It was a journey. I would start up the server 2 hours early so we could spec, so we could craft, so we could go buy potions for the day, so we could go scout out ahead of time and know where we were going. It was a proper D&D table experience, like of which I've never had in another game.
Sadly, I wasn't in that group, so it led to some weekends where I was like, "Hey, Kyle, you want to play?" And you were like, "Sorry, I can't. I'm with my Divinity 2 group."
I think it was Sundays for 4 hours, and we did that for half a year. And eventually those 4 hours became 8-hour sessions, and eventually those 8 hours became 10. And we just kept adding on.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's
Whole Sundays.
that is an escalation.
Yes. The game was an escalation. They've patched out the end and made it a little stronger, but it limped along in certain aspects. I played a summoner. A functioning summoner in any RPG is always great.
Yeah, I have Divinity, and I started the beginning of it trying to do couch co-op with Katie, my wife, and it was cool, but it was a little cumbersome to try and make work on the same seat, and we were like, we just didn't keep up with it.
I could totally see that. It's one I would prefer to play on computer. While you can definitely grid it, I've played controller XCOM, and it's fine. But it really was a computer experience to me, and even more enjoyable while all in kind of separate rooms on voice chat. It's a huge commitment. It is a huge commitment. 2 quick honorable mentions, which I cannot let go by. Vermintide 2 and Deep Rock Galactic were both 2018, and those games are phenomenal.
I've played a little bit of the former. I've never touched Deep Rock Galactic. I just want another Left 4 Dead. I know they made, what the hell is it called? Back 4 Blood. I don't need that many systems.
Too many systems, it didn't have the charm. Deep Rock Galactic has the charm.
Do me a favor, if you're making a video game and it's not a card game, if the thought of cards pop into your head, just take that thought and shove it right up your ass. For a hot second, I had to question myself. I was like, am I just including this because I feel it would be important to talk about what co-op was like post-pandemic? And the answer is no. Legitimately one of the greatest co-op experiences I've ever had in my entire life. And also the only game listed so far that we have played together.
There is the death.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Jesus. Save me. Save me. No.
It's attacking them. There's 2 of them. There's one behind you.
No. Shit. Valheim.
Ah, that's a good game.
We're just 2 naked dudes.
Just 2 shorts wearing, swimming in our jean shorts, having a good time.
We beat launch Valheim together.
There are great crafting games in the world, like Minecraft. But Minecraft is so big and expansive and ongoing. You can set your own goals. But it's not really the point of that game. Like fighting the Elder Dragon void thing. That's a part of Minecraft. The great thing about Valheim was there was functioning and fun bosses. And you could one day say, I beat Valheim. I did it. You could put it away and finally relax.
Although now they've added a new zone and I believe another boss and I kind of want to get back in there, but I have no idea how to get our world back.
Yeah, well, and oh my God, we might have our characters, but not our chests. Because we had some serious crafted armor.
Yes.
Yes,
we did. We didn't cheat.
In the making.
We did not cheat.
No.
I have the saves. They're so old though. I don't know. I'm assuming there's been updates. I'm just expecting to load them in my computer to catch on fire. Because OG launch Valheim was rough around the edges.
Oh man, how many? Here, let me go to Steam. How many hours did we spend?
What's your playtime?
40 hours. So I was a slacker. You guys did all the work. I just showed up for the bosses.
Kyle got carried.
I got mad carried.
Oh man, guess what my time is. But guess what my play time is.
Based on how I knew you were going at it, 108.
Holy shit, man! 105.
Okay, not bad. Not
105
bad.
hours in Valheim.
Yeah, I would just show up and Garrett would just throw items at me and be like, "Here, put this on. It's cold in the north."
Apparently, this counts as shelter. I made a hole in this rock.
And I'm like, "Have you seen the house? I decorated it.
I did, and it was beautiful.
I put up all our trophies. That was my job."
Kyle made our Valheim house a home.
Homemaker.
I feel like we're both homebodies. I know we both like getting outside, but for the most part, you and I, we don't go fucking clubbing on the weekend. We don't, like, I go to Disney.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like during the pandemic, it's not like things changed that much, but I did notice that they changed because as someone who doesn't leave the house a lot, losing what little social interaction like in real life that I had, boy, I was not in a good way during all that. And freaking Valheim, man, was a godsend.
Man, other than V Rising.
That's my post-COVID honorable mention is V Rising. V Rising is an incredible game. I hear they got an update coming out. Might already be out by the time this video gets posted.
Yeah, V Rising was fun, but then we basically found Final Fantasy 14. And that's till now.
And ongoing. And we'll continue into the future until we've killed, I don't want to make any promises, every boss on Savage.
Doesn't make any promises. Immediately promises.